Maharaj Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Ashota Tadashishi Maharaj Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrindi ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Skaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrindi ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana ki Vrindavan Dham ki Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Shri Parihat Mridanga ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatari. The lotus feet of the spiritual master are the only by which to attain pure devotion and service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires.
I don't know English.
Because the heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. And from him ecstatic prema emanates, and by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Oh, Krishna mercy, the friend of the poor and Lord and Master of the devotees. Oh, Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. May take shelter of your lotus feet.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki
Jai. So you all can move it.
Oh,
If anybody needs a chair, they can bring the chair closer. All sit together.
Hare Krishna. So we'll be begin shortly.
I will just request the Zoom devotees to please recite the verse on mute. Because of the delay, it will be just very difficult for the Prabhu to give lecture from class. So Zoom devotees, please don't repeat after, repeat on mute though. You can recite the verse on mute because it's a temple program. It's slightly different from the Zoom format. So I'm just humbly requesting that please don't unmute yourself today. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Sure. Prabhu is coming joining shortly. So I think you're here.
Yes,
Yes, both. Yes. No.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all for coming today. It's not very often that we have live classes here in Philadelphia. Once we went to the pandemic,
on weekdays,
we went to a Zoom platform, and we never really returned fully to a live in-person class. But we do when we have special guests come. We like to invite everybody, as much as people can come, kind of hybrid class, both Zoom as well as in person. So we're very happy today on a Monday morning. Usually Mondays are a little bit sleepy. We come off a Sunday feast, come off a long weekend. So this will help wake us up and refocus us for the week ahead. We have His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu visiting with us. I didn't know he was actually coming here. I wish I would have known, because he could have maybe come for the Sunday program last night. We celebrated both Ram Vijay Hotsava, and it was the first day of Kartik. So it was a very ecstatic program. But it's been several years since we saw His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. I want to give a quick little bio about him. Radheshyam Prabhu is an MTech from IIT Mumbai, and he's one of these wonderful devotees who came out of that and joined to become a monk and serve Srila Prabhupada's mission and serve the world by the many wonderful ways he contributed by bringing Krishna consciousness to people. Some of those ways are, he's a compiler of youth books like Stress to Smile and the 5-volume essence of the Gita. He's the designer of Discover Yourself, and this book has actually international acclaim. He has the Global Excellence Award. He's a Global Excellence Award winner for educating youth in the Bhagavad Gita, and he has the Jiva Goswami Award winner for innovation and youth outreach. He's the director of Voice, a youth wing of ISKCON, which offers systems of courses and education and training models for colleges and companies to systematically learn and grow in Krishna consciousness and take leadership in ISKCON. A couple other ones. He's one of the 4 presidential board members of ISKCON BIDS in Hyderabad Temple. Recently, GBC, he's on the GBC nominations committee. He chose 5 global duty officers for the year of 2019, and he is appointed as one of the global duty officers. That's for training and making devotees here in the West. Many accolades Radheshyam Prabhu has, and it was very fortunate for us that you've come here to Philadelphia. Last time I saw Radheshyam Prabhu was at the GBC College in New Vrindavan, and then the pandemic hit. We haven't crossed paths, but I feel extremely fortunate that you're here with us in our Sangha. Even though you see some people here, we have many people on our Zoom platform. Please help me give Radheshyam Prabhu a very warm Philadelphia welcome. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Bol. Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
Yes.
All small. Zero and you can exclamation. But he's stuck on this. You can pin it in. Zoom ID.
Philadelphia Zoom ID on. You're already in Zoom Philadelphia.
Okay. I don't know, can I share something?
Oh, you want to share? That all still will come here, but one second.
Tell me the ID.
Yeah. It's 821.
I'll do that. You can start there.
821-0126 6858.
6858.
108 is the password.
108. Thank you, Mother Savara.
Sorry, devotees, in just 1 minute, we will connect back.
Divine praise of Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. What are the names of the deities?
Radheshyam, Sarad Bihari.
Shri Shri Radha Sharad Bihari ki, Shri Shri Jagannath ki, Shri Gauranga ki.
Why does this come?
I'll do this one. Om Jnanatirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakkaramahyam Dadati Swadantikam Vandeham Shri Kamanam Shri Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Gunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Pravadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Balan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vidamscha Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gautamani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dekshatarine Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Please all of you kindly repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, I'll share the verse also here. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Welcome all of you for this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class at ISKCON Philadelphia. I'm very happy to be here. I'm coming for the first time to this temple. I think probably in 2019 I spoke to you over phone.
Yes.
Yeah, and about the Philadelphia temple, and I come to Boston regularly. I come twice a year, in January and September. For about 45 days I come. I stay half the time there, and other half time I travel across East Coast and West Coast. I go to some 15 places I go. Every 2 days I keep moving. Yesterday I was in Delaware. Before that I was in Baltimore, like that. I keep going. One of my mandate or responsibilities in US is to go to the US universities, give programs there, and also meet the students and help in reaching out the message of Gita to the youth community and corporate community. That's what I'm focusing on currently in US. It's been a very enriching, very enlivening experience for me in many of the universities. How much inquisitiveness and eagerness the students are showing nowadays. All the more so after the pandemic period. The people have, also there's a war situation at Russia and Ukraine. So people are becoming more and more inquisitive about the meaning and purpose of life. Why at all we are existing in the first place. One another reason also is because now people have started making a lot of money now. People are floating in money. At the same time, they want to know how to not hurt ourselves with money and be able to utilize it well. We may possess resources, but we need to know how to use them in a way that will bring us true happiness. So I'm very happy to be here at ISKCON Philadelphia. Such a beautiful temple it is, with all the nice displays of the pastimes, and it's a good size hall. We can have about 300-400 devotees, I think, correct? 300 devotees there. Answer.
Yeah, we can squeeze them in.
200 is comfortable.
Yeah.
Very nice, beautiful.
This is built in 2019.
Is it? Oh, really? Recently built? Okay, nice. Very nice. So I've been given this verse, 1:13:29. Correct, that's the verse, yeah. Can we recite the verse? Yevam raja vidurenanujena prajna chakshurbodhita ajambidaha chidva sveshu sneha pashan dridhimno Ishchakram bratra sandarshitadva Yevam raja vidurenanujena prajna chakshur bodhita ajambidaha chitva sveshu sneha pashan dridhimno Nishchakram bratra sandarshitadva
Evam
raja vidurenanujena prajna chakshur bodhita ajamidaha chitva sveshu sneha pashan dridhimno Nishchakrama bratra sandarshitadva. Anyone else wants to try?
The tricky one.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Any mothers? Evam raja vidurenanujena prajna chakshur bodhita ajamidaha Hitva sveshu sneka pashan dridhimno Nishchakrama bratra sandarshitadva Evam, thus, Raja, King, Dhritarashtra. So it's not connected to that? Not connected. Is it? They can't see this. You can connect this?
Others can see, but for us, this is not.
Okay, okay. If you want, I can connect this also to this. Should I?
No, I think we'll do it.
Okay. Vidurena Anujena, by his younger brother, Vidura, Prajna, introspective knowledge, Chakshuhu, eyes, Bodhitaha, being understood, Ajamidaha, Dhritarashtra, sign of the family of Ajamida, Ajamida, Chitva, by breaking, Sveshu, regarding kidsmen, Snekapashan, strong network of affection, Dradhimnaha, because of steadfastness, Nishchakrama, got out, Bratra, by his brother, Sandarshita, direction to, Adva, the path of liberation. Thus, Maharaj Dhritarashtra, the sign of the family of Ajamida, firmly convinced by introspective knowledge, prajna, broke at once the strong network of familial affection by his resolute determination. Thus, he immediately left home to set out on the path of liberation, as directed by his younger brother, Vidura. The context is this: Dhritarashtra is the elder brother, and Vidura is a younger brother. And Dhritarashtra is blind by birth, and he was put on the throne to rule the kingdom, as there was no one else who was fit at that time. So his other brother, Pandu, went to the forest and subsequently passed away. So the younger brother, Vidura, was a very wise and very learned personality who became his counselor and minister of Dhritarashtra king. And Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, and the senior most son was Duryodhana amongst the 100. But the problem was, although Duryodhana was the eldest son, supposed to lead and guide everybody who were below him, he happened to be very crooked in his character, and he was against religious principles. He was against righteous living, and he was very greedy, but not qualified for holding the post of the king of the world. So the father was very attached to his son Duryodhana, who had also the desire to become the king next to his father. So in Mahabharata, you find a very special type of situation. The original king was Pandu, who was the father of Pandavas. And Pandu was a brother of this king, Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidura, 3 brothers. Dhritarashtra is a blind king currently, and his brother Vidura was not qualified to be the king because he was born from a servant maid. He was not supposed to lead the kingdom. He became a minister of Dhritarashtra. And the second one, the Pandu, was qualified. He was actually made the king, but he couldn't remain the king because he went to the forest. He had 5 children and he passed away. Now, who is the only one left? Pandu passed away, leaving behind 5 sons. Vidura was not qualified. So sometimes there's a saying in English, a blind uncle is better than no uncle. It literally became true in this case. So Dhritarashtra was a blind king. He was spiritually blind and materially blind also. So he became the king. But everybody knew that the Pandu was the original king and his sons should rule the world. His son should rule the world. But why they couldn't rule? Because they were too small at that time. Now they would grow in age and come to the power. That will take a while. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years is likely to take. But in the meantime, what happened? Dhritarashtra, who was a temporary in-charge king, sometimes he makes someone in charge in the place of the person who is supposed to take responsibility. The in-charge should be in charge, correct, no? But sometimes the in-charge presumes that I am this authority. Just like in one classroom, one teacher had to go out for a while. She told one of the students, you be in charge in my place and supervise the students who are writing a test. And then I'll come back in half an hour. And the student agreed. When the teacher went, this supervisor, student, he saw someone copying in the examination. So immediately he went to him, he snatched his paper and he became upset with him and he gave him a slap. So he gave a little strong slap, one tooth fell off. So the teacher came because there was a big commotion in the class. Teacher came and asked, how dare you did this? He said, you made me in charge. No, I made you in charge not for slapping. I made you in charge to supervise. And you are not the authority. You are made in charge. You are not supposed to exploit people put under your care. I'm supposed to come. Why did you do this? She asked. So in the same manner, when Pandu was a very righteous king, good king, he was very godly, saintly. He went to the forest and eventually passed away. And his sons were also like father, like son, very righteous sons. So the Pandu sons are called the Pandavas. They are 5. And Dhritarashtra's sons are 100, headed by Duryodhana. And Vidura is the last one who became the minister of Dhritarashtra. Now you all understand the situation. that Pandu's sons should become the kings of the world, and they would rule the world in a very righteous manner. But unfortunately, when the children, fatherless children from the forest came back in the palace of Dhritarashtra, they were very badly mistreated in varieties of ways. One of the Pandava sons, whose name was Bhima, he was very mighty, very strong. So strong he can uproot the trees. He can give a slap to even an elephant or a tiger in the forest. He doesn't need to carry any weapons. He was so mighty, so strong. So when Pandava children were small, the Dhritarashtra's 100 sons were small, they would go and play in the riverside, river banks. So one of the days, Duryodhana, with his 100 brothers, when they were playing in the waters, he was observing that Bhima playfully was catching one of the Kaurava brothers and throwing up in the air, and they would come back and fall in the water, splashing the water. Of course, they didn't mind it. They were all laughing playfully. But when Duryodhana saw, he was becoming envious. Hey, how mighty is this fellow? He has strength like an elephant. Tomorrow, if these boys, these 5 fellows grow, they will take over the power of the whole world. And I will be cornered, or I will be neglected. He started feeling envy like this. So he hatched a plot. He went back to the palace and he made some sweet laddus. You know laddu? Round one. So they were many laddus. In those laddus, he mixed with poison. And then for the lunch, when they all sat for the lunch, he went and sat next to Bhima and said, "Oh, my dear cousin brother, I am very eager to feed you laddus. Please take this." So he was feeding 1, 2, 3, 4. And Bhima was also very fond of eating. He used to be a very huge fellow. He went on eating several laddus, tens of them. And nothing was happening to him. And that came as a surprise to Duryodhana. But then after eating, in the evening time, when the sun was about to set, Duryodhana along with Dushasana, one another fellow, they were watching. And Bhima was slowly losing balance because the poison started acting. And then when it was getting dark, so these fellows put Bhima in the water. They were tying him with ropes, with a big stone. They made him drown underwater. So this is one of the assassinations you can see. Of course, he wasn't assassinated, Bhima, because he was very mighty. When he went down the water, some snakes bit him and the poison got cancelled. He woke up. Many things happened after that. But the point is, in this way, the 100 Kauravas, many of them, some of them are good also, but the eldest brother Duryodhana was envious of the Pandavas. So it is between brothers. One brother's sons and another brother's sons, you can see that. These 5 brothers were tortured in varieties of ways. This is one way, I told you. Later on, once Duryodhana told his father Dhritarashtra, "Send these Pandavas to Varnavat." There is a Lakshagraha, we call it. A beautiful building made, but the whole building was made of lac. Lac means a flammable substance. He told, "Let these Pandavas live there for a year. Suddenly one day we will put the whole building on fire and they will be set ablaze. And that will be the end of the Pandavas. Then I can rule the world by having an unrivaled kingdom." So like this, Duryodhana expressed to desire to the father, and the father was actually weak-minded. He always sided with the nefarious plans of his son, Duryodhana. So when the Pandavas were sent there, they were very innocent, but they were guided by Vidura. Vidura actually was a devotee of Lord Krishna, and he was a lover of the 5 Pandava children, right from the small stage. So he warned them, "You are living in a flammable palace. Anytime it will be put on fire. These people are crooked people. They will put you on fire. So you make a tunnel. I have made arranged for a tunnel to be made for you. So whenever you see the palace on fire, you go into the tunnel and come out." So they were saved like that. In this way, several tortures were done. The 5 brothers were thinking that we are minority, we are small, and we are also young in age. Now we cannot protest against the king. They just tolerated and tolerated. At one point of time, they were called back. Actually, they were such a wonderful, 5 sons were so powerful that they went to one festival of one king, where they won the hand of his daughter by participating in a competition. They won Arjuna, and one of the Pandavas won the competition, and the Pandavas got Draupadi as their wife. But later on, the Pandavas were called back in a gambling match. The whole worldly kingdom was taken away from them by foul means, and they were sent to forest for 12 years period. And they were told that if you complete this 12-year period and one more incognito period, a total of 13 years, then you will be receiving your kingdom back. And in case in the incognito period of 1 year you are caught, then the period of your jungle stay will be extended by 12 more years. And again, 1 more year of incognito. So the idea was what? The idea was Dhritarashtra, the father, and Duryodhana, the son, they planned to keep Pandavas away for their whole life, like this, by this foul method. So all this was happening. Lord Krishna in this world appeared to establish virtue over vice. So in order to establish the virtue, what did Lord Krishna do? He assembled all the nefarious people, the notorious people on one side, and he assembled all those who are on the righteous side, righteous part on the other side. So it was like a great war of virtue over vice, which we call as a Kurukshetra war. So now the Kurukshetra war was about to happen. Guess what should Dhritarashtra do? He being the eldest person, see, all of us may be put in this type of situation sometime or other. If you are in a senior position like Dhritarashtra, then we have to find out how the war can be stopped. Why should 2 families of 2 brothers fight and tooth and nail, fight like this and be destroyed? So you will see the Pandavas headed by Yudhishthir. He said, here we are fighting like a pack of dogs for a piece of meat, he said. Damn it, ridiculous. Let us agree for anything, he said. Now we have returned from the forest. If they are not giving the kingdom back, Lord Krishna, you go as a peace messenger and tell Dhritarashtra king that we are ready to take half the world. You take half the world and rule. We will rule half the world. If he doesn't agree for giving half the world, we being administrators, Kshatriyas, we at least need some place to rule. Let them give us 5 villages and we will be satisfied with that. Let the rest of the world be ruled by Dhritarashtra and his son Duryodhana. We are ready for it. You can imagine how much Pandavas were flexible, adaptable, ready to just, although they owned the world, they were ready to live in 5 villages. But when Krishna went as a peace messenger, the father was completely blackmailed by his son Duryodhana. Duryodhana said, what to speak of 5 villages? I won't give even a land that can contain in the tip of a needle. The only thing Pandavas can do is to get wiped out by me. I'll finish them and I will rule the world alone. That was his greed of Duryodhana. You see, you might have heard of 3 words in English. Aggressive, assertive, passive. Aggressive means we only think of our own selfish desires and we just don't care about others. We are careless about others. Aggressive. Passive means we are timid, we can't express our needs, and we allow people to dance on our head. People can take over us, do whatever they want. Everybody walk over all over me, I am meant to be finished. So it's a victim consciousness. That is passive, we call it. Assertive means I give you your rights and I take my rights. That is assertive. So if for being assertive leader, we have to be polite and firm, bold and sensitive, courageous and considerate. We have to blend these 2 qualities. So many times, being devotees of God, we tend to be on the polite side or considerate side. The Pandavas were pretty considerate and very polite, but the Kauravas are becoming so atrocious They were not ready to give 5 villages, not even land on the tip of a needle. You can see that. So at that time, then Lord Krishna said, because you fellows are unreasonable and you are desiring only destruction of your enemy, you are not willing to share and enjoy. Therefore, the war is inevitable, he said. So then the war happened. After the war was over, all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra were destroyed, finished. Now Dhritarashtra became old man also. So Dhritarashtra is now guilty that I made many crooked plans to destroy the Pandavas, my brother Pandu's 5 sons. I couldn't kill them, rather my 100 sons have become destroyed. Now I am bereft of my kingdom, bereft of my opulences, bereft of children. In my old age, I have become like a good for nothing fellow. So he was actually deeply aggrieved in his heart because of losing all his 100 sons. At that time, the most noble, the senior most son of Pandu, Yudhishthira Maharaj, out of the 5 Pandavas, he was so noble that in his heart he felt this old uncle who is now bereft of everything, I have to take good care of him. Let me keep him in my palace along with the aunt, my uncle and aunt, and give them nice prasad, make them feel comfortable. So deal with them respectfully and humbly, so that, I can heal the wound in his heart of having lost everything. He lost the sons, he lost the kingdom, he lost his beauty, lost his charm, and he has walked a religious path. He knows it, he must be guilty surely within the heart. So with this in mind, Yudhishthira Maharaj behaved with him very well. Now it is due to the nobility of Yudhishthira that he treated him so. But Dhritarashtra, should he accept all that respect? And he was living in the same palace. Imagine if someone else was in Yudhishthira's place. After killing all the 100 sons, he would have killed Dhritarashtra also. Because you are the fellow who instigated all your 100 sons. We will finish you. They didn't do that. They felt pity for him. They felt he's an elder and he has been the king and he is also old in age and he didn't join the battle being blind man. So feeling sympathy for him, they treated him with great respect. And so this fellow was living in the palace along with his wife, Dhritarashtra and his wife, and Pandavas are ruling the world now. And this is the context. And now if you read the translation, it will be very clear. Can you please repeat after me? Thus Maharaj Dhritarashtra, the scion of the family of Ajamida, firmly convinced by introspective knowledge, prajna, broke at once the strong network of familial affection by his resolute determination. See, suddenly it's mentioned here that Dhritarashtra, he became firmly convinced of the contemplative or introspective knowledge, and he broke off the tie of familial affection by resolute determination. How did it happen? It didn't happen by chance, because his brother Vidura, who was his counselor and advisor, he has been always giving him good advice, but Dhritarashtra never paid any heed to that. He would hear with one ear and leave it with another ear. He was always like that, because Vidura was a pure devotee of Krishna. His advice was very great. There is also Vidura Niti, very famous part of Mahabharata. He's very, very learned devotee, Vidura. And several times he spoke to Dhritarashtra that please follow the path of Krishna, don't destroy your dynasty, don't destroy your sons. But he didn't listen due to weak-mindedness. So now Vidura, at one point of time, was badly insulted by Duryodhana, the son of Dhritarashtra, and who told him, throw this uncle Vidura out of the palace, he said, only with his life heir. He is eating our food, but he is always contemplating on the welfare of our enemies, the Pandavas. Like that he spoke. At that time, Vidura left the palace. And then he thought that in this palace, I have no more respect here. I am minister, but I am treated like a dog. So why should I live in this palace? So he left the palace. And then he walked down the road. He grew his hair, beard and mustache and hair in such a manner that nobody could even recognize that he is minister, because he didn't want anybody to come and talk any politics to him. Otherwise, people will come and say, oh, they drove you out of palace. It is great injustice. Come, let's form a union and turn against the king. All that people will talk. So he changed his attire and everything. But one good thing he did, he decided that I will utilize this time for going back to God. So he went to all the holy places. He took a holy dip in the holy rivers. He went to the holy temples. He bowed down to God and heard many holy pastimes of the Lord. In this way, he purified his heart, elevated his consciousness, and became a pure mendicant. There's a verse which says that Yo swakat parato vega jata nirveda atmavan hridim kritva harim gehat prabrajetsa narottama. That person is a first-class person. One, at the appropriate age, he leaves the home, carrying Lord in his heart, goes in search of the Lord everywhere, and then he develops detachment towards matter and attachment towards Supreme Lord. One who does it, he is called as a first-class man. And Vidura became one. He became first-class personality. Now he became pure, completely enlightened, engladdened. He is in a blissful state of full-blown consciousness. In that stage, he doesn't need anybody's help, anybody's favor. He doesn't need any goods to accumulate. Then you may think, then why should he return back? That Vidura returned back to palace, not to enjoy the royal delights. He didn't return to the palace to enjoy royal delights. Why did he come? He came to save and deliver his brother, Dhritarashtra. For that he is coming. So now when Vidura came back, all the while he has been speaking very softly to his brother, politely giving advice. But now Vidura understood that this fellow has become very bold. Now my politeness is of no use now. Now I have to sever the tie of material attachment. So he very strongly spoke to his brother in this chapter. You will see, he told his brother, oh, elder brother, you never paid heed to the truth that I spoke. Now look at your pathetic situation. You lost all your 100 sons. You lost the kingdom. You have nothing to possess now. And in this old age, you are shamelessly sitting in the throne as if you are a king. The actual king is Pandu and his sons, Pandavas headed by Yudhishthira. So he is supposed to be the king. And you are sitting in the palace and eating the food given by Bhima, he said. Bhima means, why he said the word Bhima, one of the Pandavas? Because Bhima and Duryodhana were combat. So Dhritarashtra was attached to Duryodhana, but he was hater of Bhima. Therefore he said, you are eating at the hands of Bhima, one of the Pandavas. And you are sitting in the palace as if you are a king. Are you not ashamed? He said, you have become very old, your teeth are chattering, eyes are blind, ears are hard of hearing, your hair has fallen. Anytime you may die, you are just counting the last few days. In this way, why are you so materially attached to the things of the world? At appropriate time, any intelligent person should develop detachment from material engagements, and he should uplift his consciousness, which is the goal of human form of life. And he should actually focus it on the Supreme. So 3 things every human should do in this world. In this world, our chase after the material mirage can never make us happy. That's the very first thing. You will see, I have heard a statement that once Jesus spoke, I heard that, do not strive for the wealth that will be stolen by thieves, eaten by moths, rusted by wind, it is said. Now, the same principle is coming in Srimad Bhagavatam also here. It says, what is the meaning of that? Rusted by wind, eaten by moths, stolen by thieves. It's material goods. Somebody was telling me in the Baltimore area, there are thievery and all. Sometimes it happens, so one should be careful, they said. You will see that sometimes you accumulate some good, it is stolen away. You will see that in this world. Or if it is not stolen by people, it will be stolen by time. It's only a matter of time. Either we leave the things, or things leave us. You will see that. If a thief steals it, the things leave us. Or we leave the things behind and we die and go away. Even the money that people are accumulating nowadays, if you see, Once we start getting big money in business or whatever, we go headlong in that direction, making more and more money, and then not caring for one's health, not caring for one's family, not caring for one's relationship with God. So you will find eventually people get lost in that. And then suddenly when they get a massive heart attack, the big bank balance remains. And they leave the balance and they die and go away. And they are not enjoyer of that money. Somebody else is going to enjoy. How foolish it is. It is very simple. In Srimad Bhagavatam says it's like, a honey, in the honeycomb, the honeybee keeps on accumulating honey. Day after day, month after month, year after year. One day a farmer observes that the honeycomb has become very big. It has a lot of honey. He comes with a fire torch and drives away all the honeybees and takes the whole honeycomb. He removes it from the tree and takes it and goes away. Similarly, the honeybees are accumulating honey. Man also thinks money, money, money. Money is honey. So he wants to accumulate a lot of money, but then the money he will leave behind and go. He's not going to enjoy. Therefore, he is considered as foolish as those bees. So that's what Vidura is preaching to him. My dear brother, you have not understood the essence of human form of life. The essence of human form of life is, in this life, you will see that you are given a time period between the time of your birth and up to the time of the death. And between the birth and death, you have choices. Like we say ABCD. Between B and D, there is C. The choice. So what is the choice? At every point of time in our life, we can walk the right path or the wrong path. We can walk the divine path or the demoniac path. We can walk the path that will lead us to the ultimate glorious goal of life, which is to go back to Godhead. Or we can walk the path that will degrade us to lower forms. So we can become an angel or we can become an animal. If we act by designing our life in a way that will take us back to Godhead, we are intelligent. If we don't design your life, it will go by default. The default option is sense gratification. Sense gratification will make us glide down to hellish life subsequently. So in human form of life, we should not let the mind and senses roam here and there in wrong direction and pave way to hell. One should actually be very warned and very careful how we utilize our time. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse which says, with the rising sun in the east and with the setting sun, one day is removed from our life. It's like there's a calendar in India. Every day there is one paper they remove. They keep removing one paper. On 31st December, all the papers are removed. Similarly, in our life also, every day when the rising and setting sun, one in day is being stripped off in our life, and then the death will come as we get older and older. What is become older? Some people die. Alpayush means within 30 years, some people die. Some Madhyayush means up to 60. Dirghayush means up to 90 or 100. So death can come at any time to anybody. That's what Vidura told him. Before the death comes, you should have completed your homework. Now, what is the homework every human being is expected to do in our life? Most people, even the most educated people also don't know why this world is created. What are we living in this world for? See, this world should not be seen as a hotel. It should be seen as a hospital. Because in a hotel, you ask for the menu and you tick mark. What do you want? I like this item, that item. But when you go to a doctor, you don't tick mark the medicines. When you go to a dispensary, doctor gives a prescription and you accept it. Similarly, this world is a hospital for curing our diseased heart. And the diseased heart is called as diseased. Why? Because in this world, we have come with an enjoying mentality. Actually, it has to be transformed into a serving mentality. A cruel person should become a compassionate person. Arrogant person should become a humble person. A greedy person should become a satisfied person. An angry person should become a peaceful person. A lusty person's heart should become filled with love. In this way, you will see a rigid person becomes a flexible person. So a blind person should become an awakened person. That's the goal of any religion. If somebody says, I am following some religion or spirituality, the goal should be transformation of heart. So his brother asked him, what transformation have you experienced in life? Your body is old now, but you have no realization. You have lived, you are still attached. If somebody is 70 or 80, he's still a lusty rogue. He is preparing himself for getting the body of a dog. At the age of 80, if somebody has not given up attachment to bodily pleasures and has not elevated his consciousness to sublime pleasures of the soul, he is now heading towards a very bad destination. So he told him, you have not given up your greed even after losing all the kingdom. You have no realization of God. So he said, don't waste this human form of life. Get out of the house and go to the serene setting of the forest and then enter into a meditative trance in which you can see the Lord through Bhakti Yoga, and you can perfect your human form of life. And that's the duty of every human. So this is a preaching of Vidura. You will see that. You see, we have 4 phases of life. First 25 is called celibate life. Next 25 is called married life. Third 25 is called Vanaprastha life, we call it. It's like one becomes a senior citizen, isn't it? Where, what do you call that in English? Vanaprastha life? Retired life. And then after 75 to 100, you call it renounced life. So the first 25 years, what we should do? Learn and grow. What's the meaning of learn and grow? Somebody may think that I have to go to school and learn the subjects. And grow means you just get fatter, that's all. That's not learn and grow. Learn and grow means learn the sacred word of God and grow in maturity. And what is real maturity? Maturity means to know what is temporary, what is permanent, what is, one shouldn't be penny wise, pound foolish. One should know that what is going to come with me, what will not come with me after death. And what is worthy of pursuing, what is not worthy of pursuing. So the petty pleasures and the greatest happiness, one should know the differences. So develop maturity up to the age of 25. Once you understand God, soul, and the loving relationship by 25, then if one enters into married life, 25 to 50, second phase. What is that phase? Engage and earn. So when I asked the students, what is the meaning of engage and earn? They said, engage means have a marriage engagement and exchange the ring. You have the gold ring. That is engage, and earn means take a job. If you don't have a job, nobody will marry you. So they thought like that. Is it engage and earn? Engage and earn means engage in devotional service and earn bhakti sukriti, we call it. That means the devotional credits one should earn in married life. That husband and wife should perform together, practicing devotional service. They should make the home into a temple. So in this way, when one progresses by engaging and earning, gradually one comes to the age of 50. By the time children have grown up, son or daughter, they have become teenagers. Now they don't depend on the parents so much. They can go out in the world and earn money and settle. They can have their own family, everything. At that time, husband and wife should think, now I am 50 now. It's called Ugra Rata Shanti, we call it. Ugra Rata means this world puts a lot of challenges on you. When you are married at the age of 25, you have to have a job, you make money, you have to purchase a house. Small budding children are born, you have to raise them, you have to go for schooling them, and a lot of money is needed for that. And sometimes the husband and wife have to go several miles for the job. And sometimes there are clashes within the family, and there are so many problems. You have to cook the food in the morning, and life is full of challenges, especially in married life between 25 to 50. But when you become 50, children are grown up and settled, then you have some time for your spiritual life. Then between 50 to 75, it is detach and attach. That's the third phase of life. So one businessman came to the temple. I asked him, you heard the morning class today? He said, yes. So he said, I learned a very good lesson, he said. I asked him, what did you learn? He said, I have 4 sons. All the 4 sons took away my all 4 businesses. And I have no business now. So I became detached, he said. Therefore, I am planning to start a new business and attach myself to that. I said, is it what it means? Detach and attach? At the age of 50, detach and attach means you detach from money making and struggle in this world and attach yourself to devotional service. Come to the temple more, spend more time, take responsibilities on behalf of, this Krishna's service. Like there are so many things to be done. Srila Prabhupada, how he reached out all over the world by printing and publishing books, by himself going and cooking and distributing prasad, doing Harinam Sankirtan in the park, and then being available for the devotees and guiding them and giving lectures to them. So one who is in Vanaprastha stage, at the third stage of life, which is 50 to 75, should be doing that. And above 75, it is pray and prepare. Pray and prepare means you pray to the Lord that all my life is over now. I am in the last part of life. Anytime death will come and strike my body. But I am not the body. I am spirit soul. Soul cannot be cut by scissors. Soul cannot be burned by fire. Soul cannot be moistened by water. I am indestructible soul, part and parcel of God. And I have to realize that properly. And I have to realize my love for you. So you sing the Vaishnava songs, know the meaning of the songs, memorize the shlokas and repeat the shlokas with the proper mood of prayer. Prahlada's prayers, Gajendra's prayers, Dhruva's prayers of various devotees like Kunti. So sing these prayers with fervent devotion, and chant the holy name inoffensively, helplessly. And in this way, when one prays, then one is preparing for death. And one will gradually become an enlightened soul, like Vidura became enlightened. That's the goal. So these are 4 phases of life. What is the first phase I told you? First, student life, learn and grow. And the second phase of life, 25 to 50, married life, engage and earn. And third phase of life, 50 to 75, detach and attach. Detach from matter, attach to Krishna. So you can remember the word das, we say, no? Radheshyam, das means what? D for detachment from matter. A for attachment to Krishna. And in what mode? Servant of servant. So you can remember these 3. And then 75 to 100, pray and prepare. So our heart should become a golden heart. Golden heart is a grateful heart. It's grateful to everybody. We have no complaints about anybody. We are grateful to God, grateful to all living beings. And we are also thinking how I can serve others rather than thinking what others can do for me. So, and also one is respectful to all living beings. Close all your accounts with all living beings. If you had some enmity or grudges towards anybody, call them, fall at their feet and tell them, I'm sorry, in my immaturity I dealt with you like this. Now I don't want to have any grudges in my heart for you. You are a good soul. All souls are good souls. Only they're covered by some impurity in the subtle body. So, which is purifiable. That way nobody can be labeled permanently as a bad person. So in this way, we should be grateful to God and living beings. We should be respectful to all. And we should encourage the younger ones, empower them, and be detached, and don't micromanage them. Allow them to perform, and you clap hands, let them do wonderful things. So be appreciative, be encouraging, be cheerful, be friendly, and also spend time in meditating on the Lord and praying, and also reach out this knowledge to others as much as you can. Even in old age, if you cannot move from place to place, you sit and chant more, read more. Let us pray and prepare. So that's why now the purport, I'm going to read the purport. I will not explain much because you have heard a good amount of explanation. Now in the purport, only if it is needed, I will say something. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great preacher of the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam, has stressed the importance of association with the sadhus, pure devotees of the Lord. He said, even by a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can achieve all perfection. We are not ashamed to admit that this fact was experienced in our practical life, like the Prabhupada says. Were we not favored by His divine grace, Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, by our first meeting for a few minutes only, it would have been impossible for us to accept this mighty task of describing Srimad Bhagavatam in English. Without seeing him at that opportune moment, we could have become a very great business magnate, but never would we have been able to walk the path of liberation and be engaged in the factual service of the Lord under instructions of His divine grace. The Prabhupada is so humble. He's saying that he himself would have become a big business magnate without meeting with Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. Just see how humble Prabhupada is. Actually, Prabhupada, in his horoscope, there was a prediction that he is going to become the richest man in India. according to the horoscope, or he'll become the greatest saint. And Prabhupada became both. He became the greatest saint also, and he made many, many temples across the globe also. In this way, you will see that he was actually expanding the temples, and in all the temples, it's all booming now. He is one such leader. You can see he started 100 temples, and now there are 1,000 temples all across the globe now. It's expanding even after he passed back to Godhead for some 50 years ago. So, but he is saying here that many of the people who come to America also, you see that they're very intelligent. Otherwise, you won't be able to come from India to the West. And one of their intelligence is to go for higher education and then get placed in a job and be able to join the competition and make a lot of money. They are very shrewd, very smart, very intelligent. But this is not the real intelligence. Because if somebody just made a lot of money in life, you see, I have so many $1 million or $1 billion in the bank. As I told you in the previous part of the class, this will all be taken away. The real intelligence is when you come to the West like this, and some boys don't become devotees in India. When they come here, they become devotees by meeting the devotees. So an intelligent person means you should think, what is worthy of holding with me? What will come with me even after death? Like if I'm coming from India to America, they will check in the airport. Certain items are not allowed to be taken. You cannot take water bottles filled with water. You cannot take knife and blades and all that you cannot take. In the same manner, at the time of death, everything will be screened away. We'll go, like in the airport, we show like this, no? Correct? Huh? We have to make sure nothing should be kept in the pocket, correct? And that is how at the time of death also we leave everything and show, I'm not carrying anything. Huh? And you'll be asked to go to the next destination. If that is so, then why to hold on to these things? That's the point. That's what he's saying. Prabhupada says that instead of becoming a big business magnate, I could walk the path of liberation and be engaged in factual service of the Lord under his Guru Bhakti Thakur's order. That's what he's saying. And here is another practical example. By the action of Vidura's association with Dhritarashtra, Maharaj Dhritarashtra was tightly bound in a network of material affinities related to politics, economy, and family attachment. And he did everything in his power to achieve so-called success in his planned projects. But he was frustrated from the beginning to the end, so far as his material activities were concerned. So he's saying that everybody in this world, with the family members, they become attached. And in business, they want to do economic development. That means they want to make more and more money. And politically, they want to have influence over maximum number of people. These are the three desires of every living entity. At home, they become attached to wife, children, family. We all come with one attachment at the beginning, which is mother. Then we gradually know father. Then we know brothers and sisters. Then after marriage, then wife and children. Then grandchildren. In this way, eventually you find 40, 50 relatives have come. If any one relative is undergoing some problem, we take tension. That's how we become attached in this world. The example is given by Prahlad Maharaj of a silkworm, which emanates some soft substance from the mouth, and it makes a cocoon over itself. And the cocoon appears very cozy for him, very comfortable. But eventually the cocoon dries up and becomes as hard as a stone. And then one is, and the silkworm is unable to come out of it. He tries to come out, he cannot come out. Similarly, the living being who comes to this world gradually increases his relatives and relationships so much that he gets trapped in that. He just is not able to come out after that. We all will have that experience. When we develop attachment more and more and more, then we have no time for God after that. So here also he was very frustrated because of having 100 sons and all of them were destroyed. He was very frustrated. And yet, despite his life of failure, he achieved the greatest of all success in self-realization by the forceful instructions of a sadhu, a pure devotee of the Lord. So the meaning of the word sadhu means to cut. And sadhu cuts what? Sadhu cuts the illusion to pieces. It's like switching on a tube light in a dark room. The whole room becomes enlightened. This is the duty of a sadhu. A sadhu should teach the living beings the very first knowledge, which is you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. Body is the temporary dress over the soul. Body will be finished. It will be put in a coffin and sent to the graveyard. But the soul will never die. The spirit soul is eternal. The second thing you should teach the living being is you are not the ultimate controller. Don't be so proud because one small corona can enter your system and knock you down. So don't be so proud. You can't even see corona with your eyes. This pandemic shook up the whole world. We all have seen it in our times. So don't be proud of your body or your accolades and achievements and everything. God is supreme and you are subordinate and you are only his part and parcel. You can only be happy by loving him and serving him. And by neglecting him, you are going to dig your own grave. This is the second preaching. You are not the body, you are the spirit soul. And God is supreme. You are not the ultimate controller. You are a minute controller. God is the ultimate controller. The third is your relationship with God is one of love. And awakening that love is the ultimate goal of life. Cleansing our heart and awakening love for God. That's the ultimate goal. So these are things Vidura preached to him. And yet, despite his failure, by the sadhu's association, the scriptures enjoin, therefore, that one should associate with sadhus only, rejecting all other kinds of association. And by doing so, one will have ample opportunity to hear the sadhus who can cut to pieces the bonds of illusory affection in the material world. See, this is very important to cut the material bond of association. Why? Because what happens? Even if you become a devotee, you came to America, you became a devotee, started chanting, you got initiated, now you have a guru, and now here is the chance to become very complacent. Okay, I'm already initiated, I have a ticket back to Godhead now. And people think like that. Simply being initiated doesn't guarantee you that you'll go back to Godhead. Unless we awaken the blissful consciousness. It's not going to. So some people after initiation become very dull in spiritual life. And they once in a blue moon, go to the temple, once in a blue moon connect with the programs. And if they are going to be careless, if they become casual, there's a saying, if you are very casual, you will be put to casualty. So then they lose taste, and actually material taste and spiritual taste are inversely proportional. If spiritual taste is going down, material taste will increase. And if spiritual taste is going up, material taste will come down. You will see that. The two are connected. They are not completely independent. So as soon as a person starts slackening his spiritual practices, slowly it goes down. Then immediately one will find that the material greed increases. Then one wants to accumulate more material goods. Somebody will come and tell you, why didn't you take a bigger house? Now you have a better job now. Why don't you take a bigger house? Somebody will come and say, why don't you take a bigger car? Now you have a bigger family, you have 2 children now, take a much bigger car. So in this way, there are always materialistic suggestions you will get. And then in this way, the material greed increases, hard work for material increases, time for Krishna reduces. What to speak of engaging in missionary activities and propagating this knowledge? Leave all that, even one's own practice becomes very big hassle. And people even reduce the round. Some people start chanting on counter. They don't chant on the japa beads. They are chanting on the counter. Slowly that also will reduce. In this way, the spiritual life starts shrinking, and one becomes more and more materially attached and eventually looks like a fool because he has forgotten his duty. So therefore, one has to hear the saintly persons who can cut off the material attachments, and saintly people can clearly show us, what are you trying to enjoy? You fool. This material world means here today, gone tomorrow pleasures, we call it. The material pleasures are here today, gone tomorrow, which means sometimes you lie in the roof of, I have done it, if you lie in the roof of your house and look at the sky in the night time, you will find some clouds, they will look like a big castle. They look like a big castle. You are immediately thinking, I will fly there into that castle and I will have a queen, I will have my ministers, I will have this, everything. I am a king. You'll be dreaming like that. After some time, you sleep half an hour, 1 hour, you open your eyes in the moonlit night. Again, you find the castle has dissolved now, only elephant is there. You think, okay, at least one elephant is there. And I will climb on the back of the elephant. The clouds look like a formation of an elephant. I will go on the elephant. And then you close your eyes. After half an hour, you see that turned into a horse now. Looks like a horse. So in this way, different information. And then in the early morning, you see there are no more clouds. So they are like here today, gone tomorrow. The things of the world also keep on. They are in a flux, state of flux always. You can be a billionaire one time. In next year, one can be a beggar also again. So one should not hold on to the temporary fleeting phenomenon. Rather, one should know that it will all be dissolved. Let me not hold on to that. Let me hold on to that which is permanent. Krishna's lotus feet is permanent. The soul is permanent. Relationship with the Lord is permanent. So Therefore, the sadhus are people who speak the truth honestly, they are not here to just pamper your mind and senses. Like imagine you have a boil, somebody comes and your sister tells you that I'll just blow on the boil, don't go to doctor. And the doctor will take a knife and perform surgery. That will be painful for you, brother. I'll just blow you. So when the sister is blowing on the boil, are you not comfortable? Are we comfortable or not? What do you think? We are comfortable. It's actually comfortable. But the problem is, how long can she blow? Her mouth will pain after some time. So blowing on the boil is no solution. The real solution is go to the doctor and show it. Either it should be, you apply some ointment and get it cured. People apply tetramycin, erythromycin. Mycin means we have done many sins for which we have to suffer now. So, and then either he will perform surgery. So therefore he's saying that, here Prabhupada says, the scriptures enjoin, therefore one should associate with sadhus, only rejecting all other kinds of association. And by doing so, one will have ample opportunity to hear the sadhus who can cut to pieces the bonds of illusory affection in the material world. It is a fact that the material world is a great illusion because everything appears to be a tangible reality, but at the next moment, evaporates like the dashing foam of the sea or a cloud in the sky. The cloud in the sky undoubtedly appears to be a reality because it rains, and due to rains, so many temporary green things appear. But in the ultimate issue, everything disappears. Now the season is going to come when all the trees will be shaven completely, correct? No? All you will find is only the tree with no leaves. And that happens in this world. This world looks like a lushy green thing and flowers blooming and birds chirping and fruits, ripened fruits showing up. But eventually everything will be finished, everything will be shaven. That's the nature of the material world. So temporary things will be finished. Don't attach yourself to that. That's a preaching Buddha gave. But the sky remains, and the varieties of the sky or the luminaries also remain forever. Similarly, absolute truth, which is compared to the sky, remains eternally, and the temporary cloud-like illusion comes and goes away. Foolish living beings are attracted to the temporary cloud, but intelligent men are more concerned with the eternal sky, with all its variegatedness. So two things. One is the sky with all its details like the sun, moon, stars, and planets. And that is compared here to the spiritual world. That's compared. And material illusion is compared to the greenery and all the flowers and fruits and leaves and everything. So it's like a metaphor kind of thing, simile or metaphor. So it's, the comparison is that the temporary versus permanent. That's the comparison made here. So one should connect to the eternal platform, unchanging platform. And the most unfortunate thing is what? In our conditioned stage, Krishna appears to be very far away and illusion appears to be very near, easily approachable, accessible, enjoyable for a while. The most living beings are short-sighted. They go for the instinctive pleasures. Instant pleasures and instinctive pleasures. They make the wrong choice. Say if I show you a chocolate and I show you $1,000 note, which one will you choose? Most children would say, prefer which one? Chocolate. And adults will say, $1,000 note, because in $1,000 note, there are 1,000 chocolates that the children cannot see. So most living beings are like children, kids. They choose something temporary, very quickly available. So therefore, it's important to study the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam not only tells us about, the first thing it teaches is how to not be, drowned in the ocean of samsara or the material existence, subjected to so many sufferings. You rise above that. And then it says how to spiritually get awakened and engage in spiritual activities. And when you do that, then it talks about how to awaken love for God and understand the Supreme Lord to be our be-all and end-all, and the most lovable object. In this way, Bhagavatam takes us from one level to another level to the highest level. There is nothing beyond love. Love is the last word in transcendence. So Vidura was trying to awaken that love for Krishna in the heart of Dhritarashtra. At least he could produce detachment by his very strong preaching and make him liberated. Because in liberated platform, if I were in a liberated platform, during chanting, mind will never wander. Because in liberated platform, na shvachitana kankshati. Your heart is not hankering for anything material. And you are not lamenting for any of the material losses. Because material loss is no loss. Material gain is no gain. The real loss is forgetting Krishna. That's the real loss. The real gain is obtaining Krishna. When one gets that realization, there is no anxiety when one is chanting the holy name. So we all have to come to liberated platform where we can chant the holy name inoffensively, helplessly, and experience the loving shelter of Krishna. So which is what Vidura is leading you to. So it's a very beautiful chapter, the 13th chapter of the first canto, Dhritarashtra quits home. This preaching of Vidura was so effective that Dhritarashtra at once got up. He didn't even tell his secretary, Sanjaya. He didn't even tell his wife. He was going to forest, his wife followed him, Gandhari. So Vidura is walking ahead, Dhritarashtra is following him, and Gandhari is following her husband. And all three of them went to the forest. Later on, when Yudhishthira Maharaj would get up, he will ask Sanjaya, hey Sanjaya, where is your master? And Sanjaya will say, he will cry loudly and say, Mushitosmi, I have been cheated by my master. He never did anything without telling me. This is the first time. This is one thing he did. He left me alone and he went away to forest. So in spiritual life, one should be very smart and intelligent. Recently, one gentleman was telling me, actually he was getting money, which was running the family well. He was also able to save some amount of money. Now he got a big job which will give him double the money. But he said no to the job. He said, why? Because if I take the job, my time for spiritual life will be finished. I won't be able to, because that bigger job pays bigger money, but then I won't be able to get time for chanting. Now Kartik month, he's doing little extra chanting. He's reading extra reading of Prabhupada books. He said, I didn't want to complicate my life. I have enough money now, by Krishna's grace. I have purchased, I have own house also, and I'm taking money now. I'm making some savings for the future. Let me not become too greedy. When you go from need to greed, you bleed. It is that. So I don't want to bleed like a fool. Let me keep this balance in my life. And he's very joyfully coming in association of devotees, chanting, dancing. He's a smart fellow. He's a real smart fellow. So, labho jivete yavata. That's what Bhagavatam says. Kamasyanendriya prete labho jivete yavata jivasya tatpati jnasanato yashteha karma vihi. He says, do not engage your desires for sense gratification. Be satisfied with whatever comes of its own accord. He says, utilize your life for searching about the absolute truth. He says, and do not work hard to go on accumulating wealth. Like that he says, 4 things he says. That Bhagavatam verse. So, but most people in the modern time don't agree with this. They will say, no. How can you be left behind? You have to catch up with others. What are you catching up with foolishly? You see others and you also run. Like one husband, wife are going in a car. One fellow overtook them. Wife told the husband, look at that guy, how smartly he drives. You are going so slow. Husband said, you don't know my actual speed, he said. Now I'll show you now. And he started speeding up, tailgating the car. Zoom. They went for long distance. At one point of time, he came, equal to the car and little went ahead. So he asked his wife, what do you say now? Am I intelligent or am I foolish? She said, both, she said. He asked, why do you say like this? She said that, you see, you could take over him, you're really smart, but 20 miles before you are supposed to take a left turn. You have gone and now you have to take a U-turn and go back now. So this is what is happening to modern people nowadays. Everybody is looking at another and say, hey, they have made, millionaire want to become billionaire, billionaire want to become trillionaire, trillionaire want to become zillionaire. So you go on accumulating money, looking at one another. Finally, all the guys are going to leave everything behind and go with empty hand. So an intelligent person means you should accumulate the count of the holy names. That's a real wealth. Any other count in this world is not going to. Any other count will not count at the time of death. So Vidura preached like this very beautifully. So you will see monks, like I have seen my spiritual master, and I have seen His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami. Also, I have seen His Holiness Radhanath Swami. I have seen His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj. See, these His Holiness Satyanandan Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. Like that I have seen in India also, here also. These monks, actually you will see that they don't know about tomorrow, what will happen tomorrow, who will maintain me, what is my facility. They don't care about anything, but you can see that though they are penniless, apparently, they are the happiest people, you would see that. So that we need associations such advanced souls, those who are living in God 24/7 all the time. They are really detached, not only detached from money, they are also detached from opinions. They give suggestions, they give inspiration to others. They are not mad. But modern day society education teaches us how to be spiritually blind, materially mad. Very unfortunate. So thanks to Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, by whose glance and grace we are all flourishing in our Krishna consciousness. And they are all like Viduras, coming to influence us positively. And they are successfully able to cut off our material ties and attachments, like Vidura cut off the material attachments of Dhritarashtra. Srila Prabhupada ki, all Bhakta ki. Thank you very much. Sorry if I exceeded the time. 9:15, 9 was the time.
You have some questions?
You can take, yeah. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel like in whole day. One clarification, because we have been discussing on this subject. One clarification I needed is, you have also 2 points. One you made that life is, certain, we may die tomorrow.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
Yes.
Then another point you said that the plan for the whole 100 years.
Actually, nobody lives till 100. Nobody lives till 100. Therefore, if somebody living, say, till only 80, they can make it 20, 20, 20, 20.
How do you know?
Therefore, Shubhasya Shigram, it is said. Shubhasya Shigram means earlier the better. Say, I would say, ideally speaking, 5 years of age, you should go to Gurukula. Now, who is going to Gurukula now? Most of us come to Krishna consciousness by 2025. Correct. Now, we have missed out so much, but better late than never. It is it. Okay, whatever time I came. Okay, now I came in Krishna consciousness by 25. Like one fellow gentleman was telling me in Pune that he has 5 houses he has. Yeah, and he has left them all on rent. He's living in one house now. And he was asking, he is almost 45 now. He's asking, now I am wondering whether I should continue my job or take a VRS. So I said, it's wonderful. You have 5 houses. 4 houses are giving you rent now. And your own house also. Plus he has saving also in the bank. Some more savings. I said, do you really feel that you have to work? You can work for Krishna now. But he's a little afraid that if I leave the job, then I'd have nothing to hold on to. I have a big post in a company. Then who will give me? I said, we can make a card for you if you want. What director you want? Be preaching director. Take some name if you want. So the living being has difficulty to give up. Therefore, company people label you and give you a designation and hold you. So we should not fear. I said, go to any corner in Pune, start anything, we will support you. Call the people, do chanting, put up a small center. Do some missionary activities. You and your wife, your children are grown up and settled now. You have earned for 3 generations, 2 or 3 generations. So there is actually one intelligent statement I heard by a devotee. If you want to build a very big building, it takes like, 6 months or 1 year it takes. It takes the equal amount of time to demolish it also. Similarly, attachment doesn't grow overnight. Gradually. So you have expanded your attachments. To withdraw from the attachment also, it takes time. It is not an overnight thing. Suddenly you will get detached. Actually, shaving up like this is very easy. But shaving material, this is not very easy. It takes time. Therefore, one should begin at the earliest possible time. Say, I would say 45 to 50, one should plan that I don't want to keep on working till 80. If one is intelligent, he has done good savings. Saving, right from the time you start doing your job, one should save, especially grihasthas. 2 things we should not give up, saving and giving charity. Some people in the name of saving, they don't give charity. Suddenly they die. So they have not given any charity. So one should never feel that by giving charity, I won't be able to save. That's a wrong notion. At least 10%, 20% of one's earning, one should give away to the temple as charity. And then you also consider saving. Don't cut on charity, cut on sense gratification. Correct? That people actually don't give charity to temple and they increase sense gratification, and they don't save also. Correct? So in this way, I would say that if grihasthas are saving well, by the time they come to 50, they will have reasonable savings. If you have a own house and some saving you have, and you can actually engage in missionary activities till 70, 80, whatever time. Prabhupada says in one purport, 20 years if someone gives fully to Krishna's service, they'll go back to God. I have to find out. I have read it in one of the purports. Prabhupada says that 20 years, which means 50 to 70. If somebody can give. Before that, they were busy or something. Correct? No?
Yes. Thank you for this practical honesty. It really helps. But because sometimes the software speaks about all time, as you say,
Yes.
It may be applicable for some other ages time. That I think kind of
Percentage. You can take percentage. Like if you take 1 lakh years, they lived in Satya Yuga. So you can say 25,000, 25,000 like that you can take.
So for now, we should start with early so that we don't know what the future was.
Early is good, and also, see, early means before 45, who will be able to take VRS very easily? Very rarely people take.
Yeah, that's the question I was coming next to, kind of blending both. The question was asked that how is this one devotees are suggested to be one person or not? And what is that one person?
We have started a Vanaprastha training program in Pune. We have 85 Vanaprasthas now at the moment we have. So what I observed, our congregation is a very huge congregation in Pune, 6,000 members in the community and about 2,000 families. So in these 2,000 families, many of them are working and going for jobs and everything, IT jobs and everything. Generally, nobody thinks about Vanaprastha. People just go on till 60, 70, 80, 90. So suddenly one day they pass away also. We have seen many passing away in Pune. We have gone to the cremation program, many people, devotees also. So therefore I thought that we should not just presume nobody is ready. Just make a beginning. So we started a ISKCON Vanaprastha Sevak Sangha, IVS Sangha. So 85 fellows registered and we did a 3-day camp. We did. Now I'm going to do 3-day camp every quarter. Every 3 months we're going to do a 3-day camp. So in this 3-day camp, out of 85 people, 8 of them agreed to go for bus party. So we send them in bus party now. I asked what commitment you will give. So generally you think Vanaprasthas are old, how can they go in bus party? But some Vanaprasthas are little healthy also. Even up to 70 they are healthy, some of them. So these fellows are like 55, 60. They are going in bus now. They have no job now. They have left the job and everything. Children are all settled now. So what vision I have given them, I'll tell you. I told them that wherever you may be away, your own house, you leave it on rent and you come and stay next to temple. That's the first thing I told them. This is your first project now. You can talk to your family members and move towards the temple. Now you are coming 1 hour to the temple. And traffic fighting is a big thing. Take a house on rent. Some people do, but we don't have our own house here. So don't worry about own house. This material, nothing is owned by you. Just take a rent. You are already on rent only. In your own house also, you are on rent only. You are not going to be permanently here. So then some people are moving now. And once they come near the temple, then the family members are very happy because they don't have to bring him and take him back and all. They just walk down to temple. So right next to Brahmacharya Ashram, this is Brahmacharya Ashram. And the next building, there are almost 40 Brahmachari's parents living. Right next to temple. 40 families are living. And Brahmachari's parents also come and do a lot of service in temple now. So our goal, eventually I'll tell you, in coming next 2 to 3 years in Pune, the whole deity department, the whole Sankirtan offices, especially Vanaprasthas, when they get elderly, they cannot move much. They can just sit in the Sankirtan office. They can sit in the tables. One beauty of Vanaprastha is they can talk to unmarried girls also when they come, especially 70-year-old man, 80-year-old man. Brahmacharis cannot preach to them. So we need, Vanaprasthas can be like a fatherly figure, grandfatherly figure for so many people like that. They don't expect big things from them. Just sit in the table and chair. Give them laddu or something. Charanamrit you can give the people. Tell something about Prabhupada, Krishna, for the people who come. Be a kind, gentleman devotee. So we have a congregation service board. So service board will take care of their services. My part is to inspire them. I take lead in this 3-day one. And then every Wednesday we have a 2-hour class. Now some Vanaprasthas told me that we are inspired by this camp. We want to start a Vanaprastha group right next to temple, take a flat. They want to do that. I said that will be difficult for you because taking care of elderly people will require some people. But if they are coming from home, it is better. I told them, be in your own home only. Take a home here. Don't come together in a group. Then you will need some manpower to do many things. So Prabhupada also says that husband and wife, if they give the all day, they give their time to propagating the mission of ISKCON. And they would live next to the temple. That is one place. Prabhupada says that in many places. But nowadays you find, even though they have time, they don't come. People don't come to the temple. They don't take responsibility. They are initiated. So I used to ask people, you are initiated. Now, what are you doing for the mission? They need the fire spirit. For fire spirit, they have to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam and chant the holy name inoffensively. Then the fire will be grown more. So this is one of the goals of this IVS meet, which we are doing now. Now we are doing only once in a week class we are doing now, and once in 3 months, 3-day program. But we are planning to do it every day for them. So when many of them come near, I'm going to ask them, can you come morning to night? You are in the temple, about 20-25 of the Vanaprasthas. Then they will all have one class every day. They'll get a 2-hour Bhagavatam class. One good thing is happening. Some of them have become serious now. They are pulling and bringing more people now. There are 4 or 5 people. They bring 4, 5 each. So earlier I was doing only student preaching. Now I find this is even more fruitful. Because if students join, then brahmachari parents make a big hue and cry in India. But when Vanaprasthas come and serve in temple, relatives are very happy that in old age they are becoming more spiritual and they don't micromanage the family members. So they're very happy. Yeah. They come to temple and spend more time. And they get a network also. They get a network of senior citizens. One senior citizen told me, I was planning to leave Pune and go back to my village. But after we started this, I have changed in my mind. Because I got new friends now. So Preeti Lakshana means you put them in circles and make them discuss. Prabhupada speaks out and they give presentation. In my YouTube channel, you will see they are presenting. Prabhupada speaks out. Vanaprastha. If you see IVS, you will get how beautifully they are presenting. You'll be amazed. And they have all the time in the world. They have nothing at home. Otherwise, they'll be reading newspaper, watching TV. Now they're reading Prabhupada speaks out and they are giving presentations. And they were telling him, actually, we felt nobody looks at us, but now we are getting opportunity to present in front of so many other people. So I told them, you see, Prabhupada started his actual career of spreading all over the world only at 69. So life begins at 70. So they were clapping hands to everybody. So don't think you have become old now. Old is gold if you become very spiritual minded. So in this way, I feel that 45 onwards, any grahastha can plan to become more and more dedicated.
Thank you. So basically,
Yeah.
So basically, thank you for giving all these examples which you've been working on. So Vanaprastha made it.
Yeah.
And especially the perception of Vanaprastha and Varnashram, the perception of
Different.
Ishtam is different.
Correct.
And that also there's some one's attitude towards it.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm coming and resting, but
Yeah, correct.
desire is that.
Yes.
And
Actually, we started inside temple before. We made 3 policies. Financially, you should be independent, medically independent, and you should have a own house and come with the permission of wife and all that we did. But we found if they come inside the temple, they will sometimes talk prajalpa, or they will not do the service. So many other complications are there. They also bring many material baggages with them. So, but if you keep them near the temple, the family members take care of them. Sons are there, daughters are there, wife is there, medically they are taken care of. So, and temple is just next door. They can easily walk to the temple. And so they are also happy. They don't have the wife doesn't have the fear that husband will take sannyas or something. Actually, nobody is going to take sannyas so easily, So, but sometimes they have fear if he becomes too much and goes to temple. But they can stay at home and come and do. And they do a lot of seva now.
if you give us discount, we will come there. But there is nice big restaurant there, you will not feel like.
Yeah, correct.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you for the class. It's been nice to see you in class yesterday and also today. So you hit on a lot of points. It was very clear, to associate with sadhus and But that's, we live in a diverse community and this town is so diverse everywhere you go. And everyone's at different levels, it seems. Since we're in the hospital, since it's the hospital, we all don't have the bullet points for the day.
Correct.
So since we're tradition, do you have any advice on navigating community and advice to like accept where we are personally, how we each can do this, and how we can accept where others are, and so how we can develop more compassion for ourselves and for others?
Yes, very important question. Actually, when we are taking a snapshot of our heart, and when we see the misgivings in our heart, two things can happen to us. Either you can feel yourself unqualified and useless, and sometimes you may even lament for the shortcomings we have, and the lamentation leads to hopelessness, and hopelessness leads to depression, and the depression makes people become inactive. This is a very bad downward spiral we should not get into. On the contrary, when you take a snapshot of your heart, you see some misgivings, we should regret and repent. And the repentance will produce intensity in spiritual life, with which you will read more, hear more, associate more, and awaken Krishna consciousness, which will actually help you to skyrocket in spiritual life very fast. So these two are two opposite qualities, repentance and lamentation. Lamentation is good for nothing. Repentance and regret is very good. We should learn from our past mistakes and we don't repeat the mistakes. And even if you commit a new mistake, no problem, commit it, but don't commit the old mistake. So we have to keep learning. Whatever mistakes you commit, keep learning and growing out of it. This is with respect to self-care and forgiving oneself. Very important thing. Only those who know the art of forgiving oneself, they can be cheerful. Yes, it's not that I am a pure devotee, but at the same time, I am not morose or gloomy. I know I have shortcomings. I am working on them. I am rightly situated. I have spiritual master. I have Prabhupada. I have books. I am living in good association. I have nothing to worry. It's only a matter of time. Very soon I will come out of all this. Like that, we should have confidence in our spiritual life, in ourselves. Then looking at other living beings, we should not, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, don't do jana aparad. He says, jana aparad means, when you look at people sometimes, they may appear very materialistic for us. Then we think they are demons and we are great devotees. We may think like that. One time I was in a train, in the top I was sitting in the berth, I was sitting and doing my reading Bhagavatam. Down I saw one man with his wife and 3 children, and they were eating so many things. They were drinking Pepsi, they were eating all kinds of eatables were coming in the train all day. It appeared to be, completely materialistic. When I came down, for getting down, that time immediately the man told his children that, please, Swamiji, somebody has come, please wish. Everybody was folding the palms, Jai Sri Krishna, they were all saying, and he told me to sit next to him and tell him something from Gita. At that time, I understood that this fellow has some spiritual inclination, although externally he appeared to be like a materialist, So we should not underestimate anybody. You will see that, like for example, Muhammad Ali. At one time, Muhammad Ali said that, nobody can defeat me. I am the greatest, like that he had mentioned. But later on, I heard that he met his own Bhaktivedanta Swami. And he got very good advice from him. And I have a video of Muhammad Ali. So I'll give it to you. You can just pass it on to people. It's about 15 minutes video. He's speaking. You'll be amazed. He's saying, now people are asking me, what will I do when I retire? I can tell you, I will prepare myself to meet God, he says. And then he says how the things in this world are temporary and how attaining God is the ultimate goal of life. All those things he's speaking now, how he got enlightened by the sadhu's company, So at one time he was appearing to be like a materialist, but then he became transformed. Therefore, we cannot permanently label anybody to be a bad guy. Everybody is a combination of good and bad in this world. As I told you, somebody has fallen into a muddy pool. They may be muddy, but once they are standing under the shower, already they are getting cleansed. One shouldn't criticize a person under shower. No, you are decide you are in shower here, there is some mud. You can't say like that. They're getting cleansed. So we have to be compassionate to the suffering souls. Otherwise, we can't preach to them. They will run away. So we have to be compassionate to oneself and compassionate to others also. When we see impurities in them, we should see like a mother seeing a child. A mother sees a child having some shortcomings. And like imagine, for example, a mother is walking a toddler child, and the child has been never walking. I mean, he has been crawling only. Now he is slowly getting up. The mother is giving a hand. You can catch my hand and you walk, and the child stumbles and falls. Will she ridicule the child? Will she ever do that? Or will she slap the child? You can see the mother feels pity for the child. If the child is not able to walk, she will lift the child on her shoulder. Like that, we should sympathetically escort the people in spiritual life. Spiritual sympathy, yeah. Good point, very good point you asked. Thank you. Action.
Spoke recently at my grandfather and grandmother in another part of the
I heard about Madhacharya Prabhu and Kunti Mataji. They are so much appreciated by my spiritual master for their compassionate dealing with all the people. Even those who were there that day, I went to the IFAS center. They all told, we are coming here only for them. They said they are there. That means they have a very great personality, very compassionate personality, very charming personality of being loving and caring and kind. They are emanating God's love. So the people are able to feel that when they come.
And balance in material life and family life as well. And of course, not responsible, anybody's intelligent. We'd love to hear from them about so many aspects of compassion, love, devotion.
Correct.
I didn't get to ask the question while the class was going on because I was remote. But my question regards the aspects of in the material world. We see how corporate mentality, corporate production, these things went on and everything. So, I's dotted, T's crossed. How in the material world, corporate mentality is something that's attractive. Everybody goes, oh my God, look, they got that done. This much money is being made. But the umbrella, when you look under it, you see that the employees are not really treated well in most corporate instances. There's not a regard for them physically, mentally, spiritually, or otherwise. How can we, I'm not sure Prabhupada's mission, which is in people with conduct, fulfill those aspects that don't relate to this training materially that creeps into devotion?
Yeah. So in our organization is gone. Even the GBCs are interested to see our leaders professionally trained in order to be able to not only lead the centers which they have, but to be able to expand the centers through missionary activities by learning professional management. So now we may fear that if we learn professional management, will it not make us have a hardcore materialistic type of approach where we may not care for the people, but we may only care for the results. As you said, how many books are distributed and how many temples are built, how much expansion has happened, number game. So in the number game, will we not become insensitive to the people's needs? This question is often asked. I'll tell you a little example, it will make it clear. Say a farmer had a goose which was laying one golden egg every day. So the farmer thought that, oh, this goose is giving me one golden egg every day, but I have to feed the goose, morning, afternoon, evening, night, 4 times a day I have to feed. If I just cut the goose into half, then I can only keep getting golden egg and I don't have to feed it. So if you would cut the goose, do you think he will get the golden egg anymore? He won't get the golden egg anymore. On the other hand, somebody may say that don't care for the golden egg, just keep on feeding the goose, because care for the goose is the most important thing, somebody says. So he's going on feeding the goose and the goose is putting golden egg here, there, everywhere. He is mindless of it. He is focused on only feeding the goose. That is another extreme. So ideal would be what? He has to feed the goose also and take good care of the goose. At the same time, he has to, when it lays the golden egg, he has to take it and keep it in a safe place. Maybe he has to lock it up in the bureau or something. He has to focus on both. In the same manner, the goose represents the devotees in ISKCON. And the golden egg represents the missionary activities they do, like book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, building temples, expanding preaching through Bhakti Vriksha, prasadam distribution. All these things are golden eggs. Now, if we care for the devotees, as you rightly said, nicely love and care for the devotees, their physical needs, their emotional needs, their intellectual needs, their spiritual needs, every leader should pay attention to them. It's like watering a plant and growing it, nurturing them very nicely. Then when they are satisfied, they will give the golden egg of missionary activities. They will do that. We are interested in both, caring for them and also the missionary activities they do. But in some places, what is happening now, I am observing that some of the devotees they are saying that pay attention to the family values, take care of children, take care of wife, take care of your job. First you be happy, and whether you do missionary activities or not, it doesn't matter. First you be happy yourself. So because some leaders are preaching like this, we have mass of congregation in India in some places, but the service contribution is practically nil. So it has become like goose is growing very stout, but not giving any golden egg. It is becoming like that. That is very bad. They say that the early days devotees were immature fellows. They were all the time aggressively pushing the devotees for shaving up and running for book distribution, everything. Don't be so fanatical. Just take care of your family, be good. That kind of thing is coming up now. So this is the other side of the pendulum, called sustenance pendulum. And this is this extreme. This extreme is, be fanatical and, just push everybody and be aggressive and by hook or crook distribute books and you shave up everybody. If you are not a full-time devotee, you are in Maya. This is this extreme. So we don't want to go to this extreme. We don't want to go to this extreme. We want a balance. And what is that balance? First thing I would say, put the horse before the cart. Which means if you take good care of the horse, then horse will pull the cart. So cart is like the management. And the horse is like the devotees in the community. So if the horse is given grass and everything, and the horse is satisfied now, it's ready to run now. So when the horse runs, then the management will also follow. If devotees are happy, management follows. If devotees are not taken care, then management doesn't follow. If you put the horse behind the cart is not going to pull the horse. So at the same time, once my spiritual master was asking, who is important? Are the projects important? People important? Everybody raised the hand for people. Maharaj said, no, people and projects. He said, they should move together. We don't want either or. We want and people and project. That would be the most ideal situation. Any leader should think about the balance. All right? Thank you. But we want to.
I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of times I've heard that. I think people misquote that.
Yeah.
And maybe Maharaj said that, but
they will quote one famous quote.
They always say projects. I never say people, and then projects will naturally come.
Correct.
But what you said,
yes.
The balance of people.
Yeah, I was personally there when Maharaj spoke in the councillors meeting. We need people and projects. But if you care for people well, they will become inspired. And inspired people do great projects. That's what he was telling. So both are important. But what happens, people only do, selective listening. They want to only say that people are important, that's all, don't care about projects. Okay, now some people, when you care for them, they just enjoy the care, but they don't contribute anything. That's like, I'll tell you an example. One devotee told Maharaj, we are like children, he said. Maharaj said, that's very good, but you have to grow up. He said, it's not that you just remain a child. Child should grow up and do something. He told it. So one place Maharaj also said, people should be loved and things should be used. But many times people are used and things are loved. This is a very famous statement. Many people will quote this. So the conclusion that many devotees come out of this, when they say is that those people who are after projects, they don't love people. That's the conclusion they have drawn, some people. But you can see Maharaj himself, he is not a man who just loves people. He is also turning many projects also. He's doing, if you go and see the communities running in Bombay or Pune and other places, you will see that in India. Govardhan Eco Village. The Govardhan Eco Village, Maharaj said, it's not a farm. It is a farm come preaching project. Thousands of children come there. They learn to respect the cows. They learn to make gobar, cakes, everything. The respectability for the word of God is to be increased. That's the goal of the project. It is not just a project where you make some vegetables and fruits and eat and sleep. That's not the goal. It's a preaching project. So he is himself a man of projects, but he is a very great caregiver of the people. So that because of that actually stands out. Whether it is cows or the devotees or the old people, his care aspect stands out. So because of that, people overquote it often. Thank you. Mata had a hand up. Yes, please.
Good question. You said how we need the support of our family, and then you're trapped inside it.
Yeah, that is the example Prahlad Maharaj gives, not my examples. Prahlad's, yeah.
So my question is, you had any practical ways of how we can practice that?
Yeah. So the beauty of spiritual life is any cross-section of your life, you can think the way you thought now. This kind of noble thought is coming in your mind that, okay, right now I am seeing that my situation is making me stuck up. I'm not getting time to read proper books. I'm not able to chant the holy name, even 1 or 2 extra rounds, although it's Kartik month. I just stopped at 16. I'm not able to increase more rounds. And I'm not able to develop fervent devotion. I'm just doing my spiritual life mechanically. If any of us get this thought, that thought itself is a very noble thought. At that time, one should ask, okay, how do I go from here to a point where I'll become more evolved in my spiritual life? So what we all have to do, we should make small improvements. Don't think of some large-scale improvements overnight. Like if I say that by tomorrow morning I should be a pure devotee, and that is a too big aspiration. So what are some small improvements I can do? Therefore, we should rise very early in the morning, between 3 to 4 or 3 to 5. You sit in a serene setting with a pad and pen, and you think more about your life. How is my life going? Because many doctors say that the early morning hours are the best time for contemplation and reflection and coming up with a vision for our life. And also all the whole world is asleep. So nobody's brain is awake at that time. Brain wave is flat. So nobody's interfering with your thought process in the early morning hours, from more the time. At that time, you can think of, like, this is the way I think. Okay, how is my reading going on? Proper books. So I have not been able to read for quite some time. Now, let me take one section. What is coming now? Say now, in case a particular Kartik month now, it's very auspicious to read Krishna's pastimes. One time I took, let me do this project on demons and Vrindavan Leela. First thing I did the same day, I gathered notes, but as well as Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj's very beautiful notes were available. I got that. I got some PowerPoints from Govardhan Eco Village. Then I sat to make the PowerPoints, polish it and add more things and everything. I read it all, and then I prepared PPT. And I made a poster and declared that I'm going to do demons in Vrindavan Leela. Once you announce it, you have to do it also. In my channel, I announced it. So then I started doing every day one demon. Evening I'll give. So the daytime I will study. One evening I'll deliver the lecture. Next day, one more demon I'll do. So 21 demons completed. Then I did it in English. I wanted to revise it. How to revise it? Then I did in Hindi also after that. So 2 sittings I did. Now all the demons I've gone through. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives beautiful explanation of each demon, what it relates to in our heart. Our heart is also Vrindavan. In our heart, just like in Vrindavan demons came, in our heart also demons come. So he explains each of it. It was so helpful for me. Then later on, when I had to give class in many places, I just covered one demon in different places. They said, wow, marvelous. So much to learn from that. So in this way, we have to give a self-project in reading ourselves and set a task for ourselves. Then we will successfully be able to do it. This is about reading. Otherwise, we will never read. Unless you are going to speak, we don't read. Correct? No? We have that habit. So therefore, during pandemic time, I took many such projects, like Bhagavad Gita, for example. I had to decide to read the entire Gita and speak it also. So then I announced it on Akshaya Tritiya day. I announced that every day 30 minutes Bhagavad Gita, 108 sittings. I made the headings. So continue 108 days, finished it. It's called Gita Amrita Bindu, 30 minutes, 30 minutes English, 30 minutes Hindi. So we have to give self projects to ourselves. Then the reading happens very well. Otherwise, once there is no project, then we don't read also. In the same manner, chanting. I am chanting now, 16 rounds. I wish I can chant more. What is the meaning of a senior devotee? I might have seen many years, but I'm actually not a senior because I don't have taste for even chanting some extra rounds. All the time busy with this, busy with that. Busy bee. What should I do? So then you make a point that 2 rounds I will chant extra for Kartik. Somebody will laugh at you. Just 2 rounds, that's all. Even 2 rounds is a good thing. Okay, sometime during the day I will sit peacefully and chant 2 rounds. In this way. Then at the end of the Kartik, you'll be very satisfied. This Kartik, I chanted 2 rounds for Krishna extra every day. So in this way, each of the item you can do, reading, then chanting. So if I feel that my relationship with devotees is not very deep, it's very superficial, it's just a Haribol relationship, that's all. How I can deepen it? What does the Shastra say? Let me hear some lectures on Priti Lakshanam. Kuhyam Akhyati Prichati. How to do that? How Lord Chaitanya and Ramandara did it. How Saru Damodar and Pundrik Vidyanidhi did. How Nityananda and Advaitacharya did. Let me also learn from Chaitanya Chitamrita and from different devotees. Then you study the nectar of devotion. He explains Sajatiya, Snigdha, Svatovara. Somebody little more advanced than me, I should associate Svatovara. Sajatiya means like-minded. So then you draw your circle. Put your picture in the middle, your photo of yours, put one circle. Who are the devotees who are always around me, who come to me often, they like me, and I like them, they like me. First circle you put. Then draw one more circle, put some devotees' names of people who are not that close, but if you take a little initiative, they will connect with you. Then put devotees who are neutral with you. Then there are other circles of far away devotees. So there are devotees who try to connect with you, you don't connect many times because we are super busy. They are calling, can I come and meet you? But we say, I have no time. So now we can take out time for them. Okay, how much time can I take out in a week, for this? Like I go to meet Gauranga Prabhu in Govardhan. It's 2-3 days in a year I go. Now when I came here to America, I decided that I'll go through Delhi instead of Bombay. So I went to Amog Leela Prabhu. I spent the entire evening with him. Now on the way back also I'm going to meet him. Here I came to America. Here I went and met my friend Amarendra Prabhu in Atlanta. I spent 2 days with him, 1.5 days, like that. So now I'm on my way back. I'm going to Vrindavan. I'm going to spend time with Sundar Gopal Prabhu in Delhi. I'm going to spend some time with Rukmini Krishna Prabhu, who's my friend in Punjab back there, like that. And I'm going to also attend Vaisheshika Prabhu's reading program. 2 days I'm going to attend that. So these are all, I am taking up these things. Why? Because equal and senior association is most important for us. And most of the time we are always with juniors only. With juniors, we are like an apex in the pyramid, which is not good for us. Juniors will catch our feet and pull us down, whereas seniors will uplift us. So seniors and equal association. So I take out time for these things. So in this way, by taking out time, actually this didn't happen by chance. I planned it. I thought I'm speaking too much in pandemic time. Every day I was speaking so many lectures, sometimes 4, 5, 8 lectures also some days. So then I thought that let me take out some time to spend time with equals and seniors. And that will happen with us. And sometimes there's Japa retreat, 3 days, some Maharaja is giving, you can go and join. And then we can intensify our eagerness to chant better. So now I told you about reading, I told you about chanting, I told you about association of equals and seniors. Everything can be done if we sit and contemplate and make a plan. So 3 things we have to do. We call it as a contemplation, reflection, plan of action. So like Ajamila, for example, as soon as Yamadutas came to capture him and Vishnudutas saved him by cutting the Yama's ropes, and they went away, immediately he contemplated that what a wonderful scene I saw now. Such brilliant Vishnu servants came and saved my life. Who are they? How kind Lord Vishnu is. And he appreciated that he was given a second chance. So he contemplated Even though I was sinful, I was given one more chance just by calling the word Narayana. Lord's holy name is so powerful. So contemplated on the power of the holy name and how he was saved. Then he reflected. He took a flashback of his life, how nice Brahman I was and how I became degraded. So the reflection helped him to repent. He repented and he cried out loudly that I ditched my religious parents and chaste wife and everything. And then plan of action. He said, now I will not wait one moment more. Immediately I will go to Haridwar, dedicate my life to a Vishnu temple. He took bath in the Ganges. And every day he meditated, every day he worshipped the deities, associated with saintly people. 12 years he intensely chanted the holy name. And on the 12th year, the Vaikuntha airplane came to pick him up, take him. So like Ajamila did, same way Bharata, when he became deer, he did the same thing. No? As Jadabharata, when he was speaking to Rahugana, towards the end, you will see contemplation, reflection, plan of action. You will see that. So this we can do for everything, for our reading, for our hearing. Sometimes people are confused, should I read or should I hear? Okay, take out time for both. Then you make a plan, okay, this much time I have only little time. In that time, some hearing I will do, some reading. Now whom to hear? Now there on YouTube, you go, there are thousands of speakers now, and all have put so many lectures, and we don't have time. We are living in an age of information explosion. There is so much available, but we have no enough time to take in. Now, what to do? Then what I suggest people, you have come across some people in your life, devotees who have inspired you. Amongst them, find out two things are very important for you. Prabhupada and spiritual master first. Srila Prabhupada's lectures, one should hear at least one lecture a day, 20 minutes, half an hour, we should hear at least. And spiritual master sound vibration is important because he is giving instruction to us, general instructions in the lectures. You have to hear that. After hearing that, if you want to take shiksha from anybody, you are hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speakers. Amongst them, whoever shiksha, whichever devotee shiksha positively influences you and transforms you. So that is the meaning of Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru is not just somebody fixed up at the top and you say Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru means that Shiksha should affect us. If Shiksha doesn't affect, we don't change it, then the purpose is defeated. So when that sound vibration is influencing you positively, then you are, in some proportion you keep taking it. After completing Guru and Prabhupada's lectures, in some proportion take this also. So it means hearing is taken care, reading is taken care, japa is taken care, relationship is taken care. Once all these 4 things are going on, then you go to the first 3 verses of NOI. 18 items you can write down. And you can have a pen to star mark which of the items I am failing, which of the items I am doing. The first 2 verses talk about failures. Vachavegam, Manasavegam, and Atyahara Prayasa. 3rd verse and 4th verse talks about positive. Utsaha Nishya Dhairyata and this one. Dadati Pradigranati. So totally 24 items are given in the first 4 verses. So I have observed one thing. The failures are oftentimes repetitive. You will see that. If I have become angry people always keep getting angry time to time. And similarly, some people overeater always keep getting overeating. So within 3 months, you will see, you can clearly know your enemies. It's very easy, all of us. Any of you here, you already found out your enemies in those verses? You found out? Actually, any devotee who is a little thoughtful can easily find out. Our enemies are not too many. Once you spot it out, then we can work on them. In the same manner, contemplation, reflection, plan of action. Like I am overeater, for example, or I am a late sleeper, for example. So same way we can work out of it. I have some seminars I do on how to work on behavior, thinking, and attitude. So in this way, we will be able to, over a period of time, bring about the change. A little change, small drops of water make an ocean, we say. Start with something small, eventually you'll end up doing great. Let's see that. Yeah, so my answer, was it relevant to your question, Mataji? My answer was relevant to your question? Thank you. I can conclude? Yes. Srila Prabhupada ki, or Bhakta Vrinda ki. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining on the call. We are very grateful for His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, I'm sure everyone is benefited. And then Sir Prabhu is also saying thank you to everybody for joining and winding up.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all devotees, and a special thanks to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu for today's. Really, we weren't expecting all of this. Thank you, Prabhu. It's so much wisdom and knowledge for us to contemplate, reflect, and begin our planning. Many stages and steps in our devotional life you've outlined for us. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
very much, Prabhu.
Vanchakalpatariyascha kripasindhuvevcha pattanam
Siddhanam
pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Yes, Prabhu.
Ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Grace Radheshyam Prabhu ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We'll have breakfast for Shad.
Done.